Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone's had a great day, made some beautiful gains. Today was a rest day for moi, so no gains for me. But rest days are obviously extremely necessary for gains, so technically I was making gains. But whatever. Today, I kind of wanted to philosophize a little bit Matrix, like the trilogy. As I've been reading Beyond Good and Evil, that movie has really caught my attention for some reason. In terms of how you can abstractly, what is it? I lost my train of thought. How you can look at the Matrix and the plot, right, and how you can interpret it in an abstract way. There we go. I'm sorry for my brain freeze there. But yeah, you could interpret in a very abstract way, and that can really mesh well with what is being espoused by Nietzsche, which is the separation of oneself from ideology. Because you look at the Matrix, and I talked about this before, but it's just very interesting how you are born into it, you are being fed by it, and you are also giving energy to it. Without you, the ideology itself is not viable. You need the person in order for the idea to be there, to be present, right? So I might just be overreaching on it, but I feel it does make sense. Like even the concept of Agent Smith as well. A man that has become self-conscious but doesn't want to go towards the truth. In regards to Neo, I feel like Neo takes on more like a Christ figure than anything, really sacrificing himself. And Agent Smith to me is like the personification of nihilism. A man that is bitter, the ugliest man, and thus spoke Zarathustra, right? Like he wants to kill the ideology because he realizes that it's not good enough for him. A man that became so self-conscious that it just got led to his logical conclusion is that it no longer becomes believable. You can't just will yourself in eternity to follow the rules and follow the ideology when you understand the fallacy, when you know when you know the lie, the noble lie in which it stands upon, if we want to borrow a statement from Mr. Plato. The noble lie is something that we can all get behind and call it truth in order to get everybody to, get in line and follow the same ideals and do the same things, right? Everybody in their roles. So do you have the Matrix as the ideology or as Christianity, for example, and people are just trying to get away from it? People and in that suffer and in that escaping the ideology, you are now escaping conformity, right? You are now escaping peace. You are now escaping excess. Our world now is built on excess, on surplus. We don't just get what we need. We always have way more than we need. And we are now deprived of that, the rejection of ideology is the rejection of the, of the life, of the idea of what is brought upon by chasing that ideology, which is consumerism and stuff like that, and having a social life, because the vast majority of people are within that ideology itself, so you're all playing by the same rules. But once you escape it, you escape all those comforts and all those excesses and all those vices, because you're deprived of the ideology that has been the makeup of the world, for a very long time. So this is that dangerous other world that you now have to traverse in order to, make a new life, make a new state. It's very dangerous. And I love how you see that analogy being made in Beyond Good and Evil itself, how he talks about how the eradication or the separation of oneself from morality is of utmost importance. And once you do that, you really are now have open waters ahead of you. You have limitless possibilities now by doing these things. Like you are now traversing in places no one ever thought possible, no one ever dreamed of going. because you have now gotten rid of these moral ideologies and moral fixations and the constrictions of the mind through language and stuff like that. It's very profound, and and I just feel like there is a connection between both, maybe not obviously to the exact degree, and there's varying stuff. Like I said, like I don't believe Neo would have taken on the character of the Wanderer, for example. I don't, this callback to altruism in the movie, I feel like is a symptom of the world that we live in, right? Like the altruism of trying to get as many people away from it as possible. Because I don't think this philosophy really is for the many. A destruction of ideology, a destruction is really a destruction of oneself. And can you really expect many people to do that and not fall into nihilism and not fall into anger as, Agent Smith, hating his own existence and wanting to unleash that anger, and with the absolutism that is characteristic of something like a Christianity. If this truth is no longer seen as valid, you are no longer going to believe that any truth is valid, or there is such a thing as an absolute truth. You are going to doubt your instincts, your own instincts as well, because you fell for this trap. And you now harbor resentment towards yourself and towards the world for this delusion that you place yourself in, or that you were in. And I feel like, Smith is that personification of nihilism, of wanting to destroy everything, in anger and spite, which is very synonymous with some of the behavior that is played out today, right? This wanting a burn of history, this wanting a burn of literature, this wanting to blatantly rearrange and reframe history is very astounding. We want to eradicate the foundations that we had as the foundation of civilization itself. And now that we don't believe in any truth, I feel like there's that animosity and that resentment that is felt now that the lie has been made apparent. So I think that is the energy that is Smith. So it's really cool, and it's something like Morpheus says, that you will have people that are willing to die to defend this. Like, this is their world, this is their life, and they will die for this life. You have people that need these noble lies in order to make sense of their world. Feel like they're out there at war fighting for God and country and for the good cause and the just cause. We're fighting for freedom, even though we're going to another country to subjugate another people. But we need these lies in order to be able to sleep at night and not look at the obvious truth that we are just playing power politics, that we are subjugating the weaker as we are the stronger, and it is within our rights. The right is might. Like I said, I've always really been more attuned to realpolitik, and I guess that's why I never really fall for the propaganda. I'm very skeptical because it's all propaganda. Everybody has just cause. Everybody has the moral right. So that just tells you in itself how ridiculous these notions are. And once you realize that, you can never really fully believe it again. And it is a dangerous road. I'm really starting to look at the world very differently, like I already was. But, that's par for the course, right? To wander by oneself. Most people are not going to want to do these things. To attack your own convictions and realize how much of you is not really you, right? How much of what you conceive as self is just a manifestation of the world and the environment around you, and the ideology placed upon you from the moment of your birth. This altruistic morality, this pity morality, this morality of pity, as to be grammatically correct, I suppose. These are the things that we have been brainwashed with from the very beginning, to have the virtues of kindness and love and pity and these altruistic virtues to be at the forefront, to be of utmost importance, to be things that we have to adhere to. And the last paragraph that I read of Nietzsche is attacking this and saying that we have to put these to criticism. We have to take these to task. We have to take these to court. They have these feelings of seduction, of magic and spices and stuff. How the passion that makes you feel good when you do these things. And he is very skeptical of this morality because it is to be good. And when you look at the Christian morality, obviously it's a morality of slavery. It's and I don't want to really expound about it too much because I'm not competent enough to have read enough Nietzsche and an aspect of his philosophy to provide any further commentary at this present time. For sure, this is something that's going to be brought up later on, but I don't want to overspeak it. I just know from what I read in The Will to Power is that, it is a religion of pity. It is a religion of mistrust in oneself and mistrust and revulsion for the drives and the instincts in which allow us to live a fulfilled life in regards to how the real world is. Christianity really is a rejection of the real world in favor of this other world. Like, all values in this world mean nothing. And to be reveling and to be revering poverty and misery and not to trust one's own body and not to trust one's own instincts, live in perpetual fear of oneself. And every single time you do something great, it is the credit of God, and you have to give God thanks for allowing you to live and for having pity on you. And all the great things is because of God, and it's not because of you, because you are a sinful creature and you have original sin, so you will never reach you will never reach heaven without the grace of God. So it really is this slave and master, you have to obey God, you have to love God. This God is very, very lustful for attention, needs constant praise like a petulant child. So that really is basically the relationship in Christianity and us. I mean, in the morality between God and man. But be that as it may, it's just cool. Like, I'm honestly probably gonna watch The Matrix again, just to see what else I can draw from it. Like I said, within this philosophizing, I don't know where to place Neo, for example. Like I said, I think that is just a call or a symptom of the altruistic morality, that we have to go back and save others, and he's like a Jesus figure, a savior, a hero, the guy that would nobly sacrifice himself for the benefit of humanity. This call of self and noble sacrifice, I guess. So we're gonna watch them again. They're great fucking movies, all three of them. So good idea. Well, that'll be all for today. There is much to talk about with Nietzsche, but I kind of want to finish the chapter I'm on in relations to the free spirit. It's very good, but I want to finish it up. I'm almost done. So the video will probably come out like Friday or Saturday, for sure on that. Pretty excited. It's always a mind fuck, but I'm glad that I'm starting to actually analyze it more effectively. But yeah, hope you all have a great day. Hope you all make beautiful gains if you haven't so already, and love you all, guys. Until next time, peace.